Hampshire, where they left off in a rained-out Bristol, Tennessee event. Many of the drivers had to sacrifice qualifying ETs to make full-bore, all-out passes at what was originally Saturday's qualifying rounds. With good air, but no practical seat time at this new venue, virtually no useful data was gathered. Leaving the Super Chevy race at New England Dragway, one big open question mark. Will King Bill Coleman be dethroned? Stay tuned to find out as the Super Chevy Show comes your way from New England Dragway next. Welcome one and all to New England Dragway in Epping, New Hampshire for a packed house as they witness the Super Chevy Show here on the quarter mile of this legendary drag strip. Our first pair of Nitro Coupes burning out now, our points leader Bill Coleman and Jeff Rosovich driving that 1938 Chevrolet. As we ask both drivers, with inconclusive qualifying, what's your race strategy?
Obviously, with our performance yesterday, we pretty much learned absolutely nothing. We went from one extreme, too much hook in the car and it going left right off the bat, to not enough hook in the car and going right. So obviously we just put it back right in the middle of where we thought it should be, and more looked at notes from previous races than what we tried to learn yesterday, because it didn't work. So one thing's for sure, we didn't back it off. We left her hopped up and we're going for it.
I don't know. I left the same tune-up in that ran the 30. The air is 600 foot better than it was. I hope that 600 foot doesn't make the difference of being right on target or over the edge. I'm hoping just to go straight down.
You have to realize all the horsepower they're making running 30% nitromethane, 526 cubic inch, big block Chevrolet supercharged. Look at Coleman off the line bouncing around, but he's on a pass, folks. Bill Coleman, well, he predicted it well. 631, 227. Guess what? It worked, Bill. Here comes our next pair burning out right now. This is Doug Winters. He'll be facing Grand Pap's toy Dave Graytek, the man that owns the car. You just saw Jeff Rosovich drive against Bill Coleman. Good green light started, and suddenly off to the side drastically goes Graytek. He has been plagued this year trying to get things straightened out on a 37 Chevy. Meanwhile, Winters in the Corvette 670, not bad at all. Take another look, almost into the wall, had to lift and shut it down. Meanwhile, down in the staging lanes, that's the driver of the mega-powered Corvette, Mel Eves, out of Florida. He's discussing with his crew chief exactly how to set the car up and what to do. We'll have that race and more of the Nitro Coupe when we return to Epping, New Hampshire, and our coverage of the Super Chevy Show from New England Dragway. Meanwhile, we'll tell you that this coverage of the Super Chevy Show from New England Dragway is being brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, 30 years of low prices and expert advice. And by Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. We'll be back. The Super Chevy Show coming to you from beautiful New England Dragway in Epping, New Hampshire. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ted Jones, your host on this Super Chevy series here on ESPN2. Super Chevy has definitely been on the grow. Crowds are up this year, according to its promoter, Roger Gustin.
Epping is full, Atlanta is full, Richmond is full. We're just thrilled to death with how well the Super Chevy Show circuit is doing.
Why do you contribute that to it? Talk to the people a little bit about what makes up a Super Chevy Show. It's a lot more than a drag race.
That's the great thing about a Super Chevy Show. It's like a festival of motorsports. We got drag racing, got the best bracket racers in the world coming to the Super Chevy Show. We got our professional show, which is the Nitro Coupes, the Jets, the Wheel Standers. We add in the Chicago Outlaws, whatever is popular in the area. We're trying to give the people what they want. The car show is an outstanding car show. You couldn't find a better car show in the country. A big swap meet, car corral, a manufacturer's midway that looks like a trade show. So it's caught on good. We're really pleased we made the decision to buy this company, and it's doing well.
There comes the aforementioned Mel Eves from all the way down in the state of Florida. Came a long way up here to Epping, New Hampshire. He'll be taking on Jim Nordhaugen from Longmont, Colorado. Both of these guys going a long way here. Looks like Eves still plagued with problems with the Mega Power Corvette. Just can't keep rods in that car this year. Nordhaugen 660-206. Meanwhile, Mel Eves right there disgustedly getting out of that Corvette, trying to figure out what could have gone wrong this time. The mega-powered Corvette just can't keep an engine together. We'll take a break right now for the driver's school. Pro Stock veteran Roy Hill takes you, the viewer, through his drag racing school day by day. Brought to you by Roy Hill's Drag Racing School. Much for that lesson. Here comes Dan Nicholson from Laverne, California, 1994 Beretta. Talking about guys going a long way. And over in the far lane, folks, take a look at that. That's Canadian Gary Irving with a 1952 Chevrolet, and he's strapping it on. Yeah, beat the 94 Beretta. Look at that, 679, 213 miles per hour. A surprise entry, folks, in the semifinals. This is the way they'll pair up. Meanwhile, Big Daddy Don Garlits is down in the pit area. Big.
Bill Kuhlman has got a real problem here in that they found a spun bearing and they found it late. They'd already maintenance the car. A lot of things were already done, and then they found this bearing. That means they've got to change the engine. There's no way out. As you can see, they're getting ready to change the engine. They're just now going to take the engine out of the chassis. Now, the good news is, folks, that they have about 50 minutes to do this, and with a good team, that's not a problem. Now, you folks at home would think that 50 minutes to change an engine in your car is totally ridiculous, but they will do that. Mark my words, they'll get this engine changed and enough fresh one in the car in that 50 minutes, and everything will be just fine.
All right, thank you, Big Daddy. We'll take a break. When we come back, jet cars are always a part of every Super Chevy show. Stay with us. Champion Dragway in Epping, New Hampshire. You're tuned into the Super Chevy Show and talk about a bunch of enthusiastic fans. They always get a capacity crowd here in Epping, New Hampshire. One of the reasons they do, well, they love Nitro Coupes, but they also love the jet cars. To be more specific, Jet Funny cars on tap right now for you. And what's the most popular Chevrolet ever produced? Well, of course, the 57 Chevy, and that was Ernie Bogue's 57 Chevrolet jet car. He'll be going against Jerry Gannon, the Custom Brothers Super Chevy jet car. These cars really difficult to hold on the starting line because of the thrust of those engines. Looks like it's going to be Gannon wire to wire. Yeah, look at that. 558, 286 miles per hour. Now, Roger Gustin discussed with us earlier what makes up a Super Chevy show, so we sent Brett Kepner out to find out firsthand.
You know, our coverage of Super Chevy shows across the country concentrate pretty much exclusively on coverage of the Nitro Coupe drag racing program. But there's something you need to bring along if you ever decide to attend a Super Chevy show yourself. A real good pair of shoes. Now, why shoes? You have to remember that the Nitro Coupe portion of a Super Chevy event is one of the smallest percentages of that entire program imaginable. There is so much stuff going on, well, we decided to give you literally a roadmap guide to a Super Chevy show event. Your first stop after parking your car and heading over towards the drag racing strip itself might be a stop at, let's say the manufacturer's Midway. There you'll find a couple of 100 different vendors specializing in everything from custom sunglasses to the latest state-of-the-art Chevrolet and General Motors parts technology that is often available for the first time ever in front of a public at Super Chevy events. By the way, you'll also find displays of Chevrolet products and General Motors engineers themselves at the races. From there, we head off to the legendary Super Chevy Car Show series. Now, the Super Chevy Car Shows are huge, often attracting upwards of 1,000 entries. Every conceivable type of Chevrolet-powered machine is on display. Competition cars, custom cars, street cars, and completely restored factory originals, all displayed in rows and rows and rows of custom cars. From the car show, if you've still got the energy, you can head over and grab something to eat from any one of the several dozen food vendors available, which, by the way, specialize in everything from fresh-off-the-grill hamburgers to grilled bologna sandwiches. From the car show, why not head on over to the Car Corral, since you've already whetted your appetite to maybe purchase a brand new Chevrolet, or for that matter, a really old Chevrolet, or for that matter, a Chevrolet in pieces, or for that matter, a Chevrolet for a bargain. Either way, you can find everything from junkers to brand new custom quality show winners available at the Car Corral, where cars are specifically put up for sale. Move a few hundred yards and you'll find yourself squarely in the center of the swap meet. What can you find here? Well, literally just about everything. The nation's largest single outlet for 1948 Chevrolet radio tuning knobs. You'll find, well, once again, just about everything for sale, including some incredibly rare pieces, all the way down to reasonably priced transportation. While in the middle of the swap meet, it might occur to you that the entire car show, car corral, and swap meet area is surrounded by sportsman drag racers. That's right. All you have to do is stumble your way into the sportsman pits, and you can see literally hundreds of sportsman drag machines. From 7-second supercharged wonders to the slowest bone stock Chevrolet street car, they all attend Super Chevy events nationwide, sometimes to the tune of nearly 1,000 entries racing on the drag strip for 3 full days. So what does all this have to do with shoes? Well, let's take a mathematical look at how many miles you can expect to travel on any given day at any given Super Chevy event. Okay, first you arrive at the track. We know that. Now, you get out of your car and walk through the manufacturer's midway. We figure that's good for a half mile. Head for the car show area, where you will be walking at least 1.5 miles, and that's being conservative. Over to the car corral, that's at least a quarter-mile round trip. Over to the swap meet area, up and down that, you're talking another half mile. Through the sportsman pit area, well, we'll be kind and say that you only had the guts to go 2.5 miles through that. Over to the food vendors to grab yourself something to eat. It's an easy quarter mile. And, of course, the walk to the grandstands to pick up the next qualifying or elimination round of the Nitro Coupes. That's another quarter mile. So, add it all up, you're talking 5.00 miles for one easy day at a Super Chevy. Now, that doesn't include the things like, when you ran a couple of 100 feet over to see what the commotion was and ripped through the crowd only to find it was your basic nitro-burning radio-controlled funny car doing a burnout. However, I'll say it again, every time you come to a Super Chevy, make sure you've got a pair of these. Anytime you come to a Super Chevy and are wearing these, we'll be there to film you at the end of the day.
Yeah, you bet on that. Super Chevy shows coming up yet this year. If you'd like to catch one of them, here are some of the locations and dates. We'll take a break. The Nitro Coupes are on tap in the staging lanes, ready to go, and so are we. Stay with us. Being two fans of the Super Chevy Show coming your way from New England Dragway in Epping, New Hampshire. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is Gary Irving's 1952 Chevrolet that just upset Dan Nicholson in the first round of competition. Matter of fact, he's done his burnout. He's backing all the way up to the water box. The driver talking to the crew, and now that's usually a sign that they've lost oil pressure. So the Nitro Fish car, Jim Nordhagen, out of Colorado, will make a single pass. Remember, Louis T gets lane choice. He's standing on it. Yeah, 653, I'll say he stood on it. 213 miles per hour. And what a shame for Irving. He had a great race going for him. Well, that's drag racing, folks. We'll pause now for the performance tip. Professional tips on the latest performance technology available with Bill Kuhlman. Items featured on the performance tip are available from Summit Racing Equipment. 30 years of low prices and expert advice.
For years, one of the most recognized high-performance vehicles out there would be that era of 67 all the way to 81 Camaros and Firebirds. They tore up drag strips and still do. And now there's a lot of them being used in road course, road racing, and just cruising. But a lot of them have the new modern ride. And how do they do that when you realize this car was built back in '67, a few of them? They look to Hotchkiss performance. They like the car. They don't want to chop it up, turn it inside out. They want parts that will bolt on but make the suspension ride like a new 2000 model and have that same performance. They have front and rear sway bars, leaf spring kits. But when you look close, look at the quality Hotchkiss builds into these parts. We're looking at 1.25 inches, but we're looking at a powder-coated bar. Every bracket, nut, bolt is either CAD-plated stainless steel or chrome. They don't use lock washers, which is the main cause for digging in and causing the start of rust. They go with Nylocks. Springs. This is a 2-inch lowering kit, but it's a much stronger spring. You can really get performance out of this. When I bring you these Summit Racing Equipment performance tips, that's what we look for is performance. Even you can step a step farther. These aren't rubber bushings. These are neoprene with grease zerks. What more could you want? Hotchkiss has been doing this for a long time also, and they specialize in that era and many more. So look to Hotchkiss for your high-performance needs.
All right, thank you very much, Bill Kuhlman. Coming at you right into your living room, ladies and gentlemen, the 1958 Corvette of Doug Winters. And they're having to push start. Bill Kuhlman right there probably had a dead battery. Remember, they made that last-minute engine swap.